Say your prayers, Android. Here they come! Great Fox will cover you.
All right, good morning, everybody. Today it's our first episode of Metroid Prime 4 Hard Mode. You'll notice it's not the exact start of the game because I did start it last night because, I figured that it'd be better to, not streaming everything for this playthrough because for time's sake. I am going to be going through it a bit more meticulously to try to get everything. Sorry if my voice sounds a little weird. I'm starting to come down with a little cold. But yeah, just going to try to make sure I get all the scans. That's the big thing. I know that I think that there are some that I hope I got all the ones in the prologue. I don't have any missiles. Shoot these guys. because I believe that there are some missable scans. So yeah, I might have talked about this a little bit before, but in general, when it comes to Metroid games don't usually do too well when it comes to designing their hard mode. The challenge in a Metroid game is more in the area of like what rewards do they give you and how you get those rewards. So like the Metroid Zero Mission and Fusion games had some great challenges for players that were built into the game. Like the simplest one is get 100% items. Then you had like beat the game in under a certain amount of time, and then beat the game in under a certain amount of time with 100%, and then beat the game in a certain amount of time with under a certain amount of percent. Okay, so basically the challenges themselves kind of acted like the hard mode. You had to restrict yourself when you played the game, which made the game more interesting in a way. Hard mode became a much different experience when you didn't have like a billion missiles to throw out every single boss. You had to think a bit more and utilize, skillful play a bit more. Games that put in a hard mode, like I believe it was the first ones to really do it were the Prime games, but then also they did it in Return of Samus, the remake of Samus 2, Metroid 2, and really all they did was just jack up enemy health and damage, which is a very boring way of doing difficulty. Playing in a different difficulty tier should be, excuse the bird clock, should provide a different experience. Not different, not the right word, but a sort of different experience. There should be new experiences, new puzzles, new takes on puzzles, maybe new enemies or variations of enemies, which this game is sorely lacking. Games that do this really well, Ninja Gaiden for Xbox and the other 3D Ninja Gaiden games, they don't just, like, yes, you are playing the same game for sure, but you encounter different enemies at different times and different variations of those enemies that have different attack patterns. Resident Evil 7 had a great way of, like, they completely, it was like a Master Quest, if you ever played Ocarina of Time Master Quest, which is another great way to do a difficulty tier that was kind of like an addition later on. But in Resident Evil 7, the Madhouse difficulty, they just like completely reworked the way you're supposed to move through the map. So you had to, even if you played the game on normal difficulty a million times, this was going to be a completely new experience with different ways to move about the mansion or the house, the Baker estate, than you experienced before. It was a new experience. Okay, all that to say, I fully expect Metroid Prime 4 Beyond to have a relatively kind of boring hard mode. Alright, there are two ways to go here. There's a scout guy. From what I haven't read anything interesting about hard mode in this game, other than, or even like if there's a reward for it or any kind of incentive to do it. I imagine that there is. But we'll see. Oh, morning, guys. Didn't see you there. Morning, Zeltroid. Morning, Tim. Oh, Spotted, just busy. Oh, yeah, trust me, man. I understand. Everyone's busy. Take your time. I hope so. That would be awesome if the sun shone and the chicken clucked. So people realize it's not a rooster. It's just a chicken. Actually, it's pointing to the loon right now, so... I know I'm going the wrong way. I think for my first playthrough, I went the other direction. And it turned out to be the right way. So this is probably going to lead to a dead end. Yeah. Oh. Well, look at that. Oh, never mind. That's right, I need that. I need it. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Increasing the health and the damage of enemy output does make things harder. And for those masochistic type players, sometimes I fall into that category. That's an attractive thing. But for others, when they play hard mode, increasing the experience by adding, different enemy types or different puzzles or things like that, can further draw you in. Like even Ninja Gaiden Ragebound did that. They added obstacles, they added the enemy count, different types of enemies, so that even though it was a 2D action platformer, it still felt new. Like it required a bit more thought rather than just, how do I get in an extra slash for this enemy? Oh, I'm back here. But yes, that being said, there are some points in this game that I am having played it, I am concerned about the difficulty in. The Omega Griever being one of them. I don't know how... I haven't really gotten hit too much, so I don't know how much the enemies hit harder. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I did start watching some reviews now that I've completed the game. Zeltroid, I have your playlist queued up. I haven't gotten fully to it yet, but I'll make sure to give it a watch for sure. Master Quest, yeah, Master Quest is awesome. Completely reworked the dungeons and had enemies and locations. They had, yes, made things fresh. Exactly, and that's the trick with different modes of play, is making it feel fresh and more difficult at the same time. Like a very simple thing they could do to make it feel fresh. Throw in something where Mackenzie's communicator dies and he's not able to guide you. That's it. That would change the experience a lot, actually, since he's always in your ear directing you where to go. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss any scans, because that would really suck if I got to the end and was like, I'm missing a scan that I should have only gotten in the prologue. Yeah, as I started watching some reviews, obviously some things I agree with, some things I don't agree with. But I think in general, the structure of the game is its biggest hindrance. It's very much it's very much a guided tour that they want to take you on. They think, I think the devs like wanted to try and encourage exploration by making you go to the Soul Desert so many times and always pass through it. But at the same time, because Miles is constantly telling you where the next objective is, they like rush you through it. It's like they want you to go through it as fast as possible. Where like they want you to know where to go at all times while telling you to explore, but they immediately undercut that. I didn't notice this before, or maybe I subconsciously noticed it, but as soon as you get out of the Vault Forge, or like you get the first key, Miles tells you you can get the rest in any order you want, and then you can't. You can't do that. You try to go to the other areas, and you're very clearly blocked, which, you know, kind of communicates to you, the player. It's like, okay, so there is a particular order to go in, which is not a bad thing. I mean, Zelda games or at least earlier Zelda games, pre-Breath of the Wild era, are extremely linear in that sense, but it's communicated to you. This game made me feel a lot both good and bad, so I've been binging everyone's reviews too, because I got to do something with these emotions. And then they just punish you for listening to them with that crappy ending. Did you hear the huge Metroid Prime news yesterday? Kensuke Tanabe, the producer and the head of the Prime series, is retiring. He made basically all of the controversial creative choices for Metroid Prime 4. Well, I mean, I hope that's in response to all the reviews. One guy that I interact with on X said he bought the game day one but hasn't loaded it up yet, so there might be a due to the negative reviews, there might definitely be a lack of player interest, especially if people like Metroid games and they hear that this is not a Metroid game. Yesterday it was like perfect timing. I don't know if you like this group of reviewers, but the EFAP guys, again, it's fine if you don't. They've got their own take on things. The EFAP guys released their supercut of them all playing Metroid Prime 4. I wish they had cut in more parts of it that were positive. Because I noticed that they cut over a lot of the bosses, and I think that at least the clip section that they premiered beforehand was predominantly negative. And the bosses, even one of them says the bosses were the strongest aspect for them so far. So if you watch the clips, you're going to get a predominantly negative take. But I do want to find some reviews that are positive about the game, just to kind of have a more balanced take on what people are thinking. I would argue that this game has some serious problems with its storytelling and structure. And it's sad because there's some very simple things they could have done to fix that. Yeah, they know how to eviscerate bad stories for sure. Yeah, they did. Yeah, go watch. They released 2 videos yesterday. One was a supercut of, like, it's kind of funny, like 4 of them playing the game on their own, but the editor made it so that when one of them got to one part, it immediately showed what the others were experiencing. It was, and in general, there's like I bet Mackenzie's gonna talk to me right now, and then Mackenzie starts talking to you or things like that. And they really do point out the structure problems. And then they also released their just live stream discussion on the game itself, and that's when they go a bit more in depth. I haven't finished it yet, but they go a bit more in, well, not a bit more, a lot more in depth with the structural problems of the game and how it compares to previous games. Like, don't miss any scans. I don't want to. Yeah, and they were pointing out in Prime 1 and 2, the desired path of how you're supposed to make it through the game consistently takes you back through other areas of the game. The only area that they consistently take you back through in this game is the Soul Desert. Like, you don't really have to go back to a lot of places except to get the last mech part.
What was that? Okay.
And the only reason you would is to get more, upgrades. Whereas Metroid, which is like kind of like a conscious decision you have to make. Whereas Metroid Prime 1 and 2, it feels much more natural because you're like, okay, I think I need to get to this area, but then, oh, look at that, and then you get sidetracked. And maybe it's the right direction. You don't know. I still maintain that the strongest aspect of this game is the combat. I disagree with people saying that I forget the term they used. Like right now, I'm spamming the psychic button, psychic beam button. But they were saying that it's the best one. You don't have to use anything else. I disagree. Even in normal mode, I found that there were some situations where it would be better off to use one beam over another, depending on the enemy, even though that there's a lack of variety. Come here, buddy.
Oh, great job. Now help me down.
I still disagree that,
we're good. Okay.
I do think the NPCs are a problem. There's problems with their writing, but at least they have a personality. There was an attempt. They're distinguishable in the way they look and the way they talk. It's not like it could have been. Surprisingly, it could have been worse. How they use the NPCs to push you along, especially Miles. It would have been hard to make that worse. But we could have just had 4 bland NPCs that are all interchangeable except for the voice actor. Instead, we actually got distinguishable characters. So I'll give it that. At least some distinguishable characters. Zeltroid says, honestly, might make me sad to watch on a daily basis. I'm saying to my wife, I can't believe I live in a world where Metroid Prime 4 is here, and it sucks. Every area that this game struggles, yeah, is where the previous Prime games excelled. Lore, immersion. Yes. What were they thinking? As a kid, when when you think you have like a great idea for a show or a game, you're like, oh, I'm gonna write a letter to Nintendo and tell them my idea. I was like, I wonder if on X I could find the writers to this game and just be like, what were you thinking? Why did you do that? Why did you decide to have Samus abandon all of her friends? Why did you think that was a good idea, and why did no one in your circle tell you that was a bad idea? I feel like I feel like I'm reliving my experience with The Last Jedi and what's the last movie? I forget the last movie. Oh, Sky. No, man, I can't even remember it. That's how badly my brain wants to forget the last sequel movie name. Rise of Skywalker. Like, not only does the game have a lot of problems, which ekes it towards the bad game category, but the Samus is suffering character assassination here on a pretty bad level. I have a concussive laugh. Didn't I get that one last time? Oh, whatever. It's okay, no one needs to remember those movies.
Technology. It's not as old as the rest of these roads. What do you think? Is everything in this jungle trying to kill us?
It is true. Everything in this jungle is trying to kill us. Okay, good. Yeah, I remember. Aside from visiting Miles back at your home base, I did this off camera. You don't need to come back here. There's nothing. There's no unless you're trying to get scans and you're gonna go and get ammo. There's absolutely no reason to come back to this area, and they never actually lead you back to this area. Which, like, in Prime 1 and 2, there's a number of occasions where they take you literally right back to your ship. Scanning.
Can you read that? Hey, does that say anything about this place? Seriously, how'd you do that? Hey, don't want anyone in here. Must be a sacred space. I've never seen anything like this.
At their core, I don't hate these NPCs. I just hate that they're in Metroid Prime. The funny Aussie NPC is great in Halo. It'd be horrible in Metroid because it messes up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they mess up the vibe. 100%.
I'm just gonna stay out of your way.
Yeah.
You let me know when it's clear.
I haven't. Most people I've interacted with online about the issues with this game is, like, if you ask, like, what is a Metroid game? You know, they'll tell you it's like you're in an isolated setting by yourself, and you got to figure a way out. And
Moving
Um, it'd be one thing if the rest of the world was designed in a proper Metroid fashion. That at least would make some parts of the game feel like Metroid, because you know there are times when you are alone and no one's talking to you, so they could have pulled it off there. But any kind of connection with a character, any kind of NPC, removes that feeling of isolation. And I don't know if I said it in the last episode, probably because I got interrupted during the fight, but there are games you play where when you get to the end of them, you have that kind of like satisfied feeling of like, I just completed a great epic journey. Like obviously Ocarina of Time, I felt that as a kid. As an adult, making it like finally rescuing my wife in Resident Evil 7 and even Resident Evil 8, despite its problems with the story, was like an epic journey in a lot of ways. A lot of Zelda games pull it off, and Metroid games pull it off. This one, I just didn't have that satisfied feeling. Like the way the world, the biomes weren't connected in any way. You know, it's almost like I wish they just made it more like Halo, where they just put everything into the combat, give you more varied enemies, and just tell a good story. At least a good story. It wouldn't be Metroid, but it'd be better than this. It completely fell into the trap of, if you try to please everyone, you're not going to please anyone. Zeltroid says, Prime 3 struck the perfect balance. Yeah, we opened on the GFS Olympus and the other hunters and soldiers, but we still had very isolating chapters on Alicia Brian, and the pirate homeworld. I've only played Prime 3 once, and I think you saw I did do a few episodes of it, and I agree. Like, from what I remember playing, it's like it still felt like a Metroid Prime game. I don't know if I'd say it struck the perfect balance, because there are some moments where, you know, the mother brain computer chimes in and talks to you, but at least she had that. At least the NPCs had the serious tone to them. You know, there wasn't someone trying to be a comic relief. There wasn't the plucky possible self-insert of Nora Armstrong, who I'm still not as upset about as some people are with her. But I totally understand why some people find her annoying. But even with like this character set, even with like what we have to work with, if we could just like re-edit the game, move some things around Master Quest style, this could be a much better game, I think.
No way. A Mark 99 mech? I'd recognize that frame anywhere. Mark 99 mech?
Zeltroid says, I wish they didn't call this game Prime. Honestly, if they didn't, I would have been more receptive to a different way of looking at a Metroid game. Calling it Prime, yeah, exactly.
What are you doing here? I worked on her back at base. I'll take it. Poor baby.
So that's a big expectation.
Apart. If we can find the missing pieces, I bet we can get her up and running again.
It's kind of like how I don't I don't like the Zelda Warriors games, but because they're called Zelda Warriors and they were established as a sort of spin-off, I'm like okay with their existence, but it still bothers me when people try to make the abilities of the characters in that game canon. Like, I totally understand why some people like the Warriors games, Dynasty Warriors and Zelda Hyrule Warriors. I just don't find them, I don't find them appealing. I'm interested to see how fast I can do this. Like, I imagine it'll take me just as long as my previous run, given I'm trying to get everything. But at least I'll know what to do in certain areas. Wasn't I supposed to open something in here?
I want to poke around, but Dakota don't like English
Oh.
weeks without a translation.
That's right, I gotta go talk to him.
I'm just gonna push buttons and see what happens.
Oh, this is not a... At least they're letting me skip the cutscenes.
See? The button pushing strategy always pays off. But I do not know what to do next. So, Samus, you give it.
You like the Hyrule Warriors games a lot, but if that was suddenly the new Zelda game in the traditional form, I was gone.
You can understand, which means you've received translation.
Yeah, and I totally get it. I totally get why people like the There's a reason why the Dynasty Warriors formula has survived, and you mesh that with Zelda, a very popular franchise, and that's like an instant winner. For me, I played through Hyrule Warriors on my 3DS. You know, maybe one day I'll give it a shot again, but you know, it's just not my cup of tea right now. I'm not paying attention to what Miles is saying, so I'm just kind of guessing from memory what I'm supposed to do. But I don't know, maybe with
That's one way to fix it.
what's his name? Takanabe, was it? Tanabe stepping down, the message will be received that, like, hey, fans want something different. You know, it's clear that they were hoping that this was going to be like their Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 was very divided the fan base, but I think you'd be hard-pressed to even find... Well, that's not true. It's the internet. You'd find a lot of people. I think the majority of players who don't like that it changed that Resident Evil formula, if they're rational people, would admit that Resident Evil 4 is an incredible game. And there's a reason why it's really loved. It did set the tone for the rest of the... And because it was so well received, it set the tone for the next few games. Which, if you hated that format, would have probably really pissed you off. But they eventually got back to it. So, maybe? I'm forgetting these puzzles now. Scanning, scanning. Gotta scan everything. Oh, I gotta scan this. No, not that. I forget what I'm supposed to do here. These signals can be interpreted only by those who have psychic abilities. Did I just not come back here last time? Oh, that's... wait, hang on. That's what I'm supposed to do? Oh, I totally forget. What am I supposed to do here again? I forget. Jim says, RE4 had a good tone, right? But they also overdid it with the over-the-top action in the next 2 games in the series. Yes, 100%. Before I dove into streaming, I had only played up to RE5, and I was a huge Resident Evil fan back in my teens and early 20s. So I played through RE6, and I do think that they nailed the combat that they were trying to get. But they the story was a bit of a mess, and it was action zombies. The survival horror aspect of it was completely gone, and I think it's very comparable to this game. I don't think, you know, there seemed to be a resurgence of people online saying, like, praising Resident Evil 6, and I'm just like, I don't know about that. Yeah, I forgot what to do there, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna save again. But yeah, that was their moment with the failure of Resident Evil 6. I think that was their moment to be like, hey, we need to do something to reinvigorate the franchise. And they took the feedback and they made Resident Evil 7, which you could argue still doesn't match the feel of Resident Evil. But it's a great game. It's a great survival horror game. I played Resident Evil 4 so much as a kid. I beat that game so many times. It was so fun. I bought it on the GameCube. Oh, that's right. Sorry, everyone. Resident Evil 5 and 6 was a lot of fun because of the co-op. The co-op in Resident Evil 5 was a blast. They lost me since because now it seems too horror. RE5 was too action heavy. It's a tough balance. Yeah. Yeah. Resident Evil 7 was scary. It was really scary. But Zeltroid, have you tried I know, me too. Sorry. I'm thinking of multiple things. Zeltroid, have you played Resident Evil 8? Resident Evil 8 takes a lot of beats from Resident Evil 4. But yeah, Resident Evil 4 solidified Leon as like one of my, if not my favorite video game character of all time. Definitely up there. He is like super alpha, supremely confident, and just a good, an altruistic good guy. I gotta remember, I got to scan everything. Oops. There are some scary moments in in Resident Evil 8 for sure. one area in particular, but most of Resident Evil 8 is run and gun. You're like Van Helsing in Eastern Europe, killing monsters with various weaponry. I'm like so paranoid I'm gonna miss a scan. Because some of the bosses have like different forms that you can scan again. You guys know. Doing the whole muscle spasm thing so I can spam my shots faster and do the most damage possible. I am on hard mode, right? I'm pretty sure I'm on hard mode. I started the game on hard mode, I thought. Let me just make sure here. Gameplay. I don't want to hit that button. No, I'm on hard mode. I definitely started on hard mode. Oops. Oops. I guess I have missiles now. Just do that. I would look forward to it. Oh man. Ow. This before it smashes down on me. One, two. Wow. Lisa's trying to leave me. Form. Okay, good. See, like, if this were, I feel like if this were Ninja Gaiden, the boss in hard mode would immediately start with these vines in place. There would be more of these petals being fired at you. They would be faster. His attack cycle would be faster. As it stands right now, I don't notice much of a difference with his attack cycle. It's pretty similar to what was in the first round. But you know, that's the thing. You don't have to completely redesign a game for hard mode. You just do some little things, tweak some little things to make the experience feel different. I wonder if I can get it this time. Oh no, oh no! Yes! Die, you Carvex, or whatever you're called, who has a Metroid implanted in them for some reason that's not quite explained. Why the Metroids are here. I did scan the things that threw at me. There would also be a spirit piranha and kitty ninjas attacking you. Yeah, that's true. If this were Ninja Gaiden, there would be kitty ninjas that decapitate you. Oh shoot, was I supposed to scan that? Hope not. Yeah, scantily clad kitty ninjas that pop up. Just gonna say this now. If I happen to miss a scan and I can't get 100%, I'm not gonna start the game over. The thing here is I'm gonna try to beat the game on hard mode. Like it'll suck if I miss something. But it's okay. Like if I was supposed to scan that upgrade and I didn't, check your logbook. Technology. Nope. I don't think item scans have ever been essential, so you should be okay. I hope you're right. Bomb slot. Can I scan my bomb? Oh no, I can just do that. Ah. I didn't have to do that. For a game that hides a bonus scene behind 100% scan, it does a really bad job of telling you which scans actually count. Yeah, I feel like in Prime 1, 2, and 3, bringing up your scan visor, like, essential scans had different colors to them. Do they do that here? I haven't really been paying attention to that. My map. I shouldn't need to open my map to get that little green thing away. Oh wait, was that? Okay, okay. Scanning. Bees. Lots of bees. Yeah, the bees got really tiresome. And they use them way too much. Hey, there's a statue. Oh, can I? Interesting. Is that the only green energy crystal in that area? In like that's outside of the desert? Can I make it to that Lemorne statue? Will this game be remembered well? I think all the scans are green colored, yeah. When I scanned the missile upgrade, I couldn't find it anywhere in the logbook. Okay. Oh man, the trilogy suffered from those issues as well. You had to scan Flagra and its tentacles, which people often miss. The Emperor Ing had like 5 different scans based on the very subtle changes. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I'm not. I didn't say that as like a slight against specifically Metroid Prime 4. The scans have always been. I've like overall, I think the scan mechanic is a defining mechanic for this series, but it's not without its problems. Okie dokie. Was that always there? Did I just miss that the first time I came in here and wandered around? A massive burning rock. Oh, I totally missed this the first time I played. A massive burning rock fell from the sky of the jungles of Vuros. Once this rock, which was itself poisonous, had cooled and hardened, a small carnivorous... Oh, this is the boss lore. The plant did not succumb to the poison. It thrived, growing over the jungle. In vast time, the priest thrush became the first the plant could convey its thoughts to, named Carvex later, and Carvex eventually relocated the garden. Oh, is this like more boss lore that I can come back and get? That's nifty. Wow, I did not know that. I'm not saying the other games were perfect with their scans, but they only hid the art galleries behind them. Yeah, but I mean, at some point, I mean, art galleries, like, I got everything I could in Metroid Prime 1, and at some point, unless you're gonna give, like, some sort of gameplay reward, art galleries are all they could reward you with. I would think that it'd be cool if, like, a Metroidvania game would let you do a new game plus, where you start the game with everything, which would defeat the purpose of the Metroid game for sure. But it would be it's like a fun kind of like add-on. See how you can sequence break the game. Like, that would have been fun in Metroid Dread, because they programmed in sequence breaks, like if you get to bosses early. But you know, that's at the end, after you've played the game to death and you've unlocked everything. So that'd be like a nice little reward.
have to design these for humans. Oh! Whoa! You are sneaky quiet.
In
you know
Metroid Prime 1, the Dark Samus
Hey,
bonus
I'm glad
scene
you're
was
back.
100%
That data
items.
you gave me earlier is
The
really
hand
coming in
comes out.
handy. I've been able
And
to
you're like,
translate
oh.
this planet, Eros.
Did you get
Doesn't
anything
appear on
for
any of the known-
upgrading all of your getting all the scans in Metroid Prime 1? I think you might have just gotten artwork. Dude, you know that's coming. Zeltroy, they're totally like, what if we did a galactic like we tried to do Federation Force again, but this will be Galactic Federation Force Prime. And it'll be a squad-based shooter, just like, but not as good as Star Wars Republic Commando. You'll have, they set it up already, guys. I'm calling it now. You'll have the technician, you'll have the sharpshooter, you'll have the soldier, the smaller, weaker soldier, which is Armstrong, the bigger, heavier soldier, which is the sergeant,
Careful, Samus.
and then
Know watch your back.
your big robot buddy. It's definitely gonna happen. Cargo launcher. Do I have the psychic boots yet? I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't. Come here, bomb. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, have they released any sales numbers for this game yet? Because if it doesn't make money, Nintendo might not humor Nintendo of America, which is now under new management. We'll see how that goes. I don't want to imagine that. Zeltroid says, just imagine Samus and Miles doing tandem specials, aka Sync Strike. It says, it's about to get nerdy in here. And absolutely obliterates 100 space pirates simultaneously. See, okay, that's my biggest problem with, and again, sorry if you like the Warriors games, it's fine. That my biggest problem with the Warriors games in general is from, like, a mechanical storytelling standpoint. Every character is as strong as every other character. So, were we to get a game like that, it would basically make Samus unnecessary, because Miles and Armstrong can do everything that Samus can do. And that's how I feel about the Zelda. Like, I'm a big lore nerd, for sure, so, and I care a lot about the lore of Legend of Zelda. So it's like, when I get into arguments with people online about Zelda not being a warrior, and they're like, oh, but she fires the bow really fast in Hyrule Warriors games, it's like, yeah, it's because you have to look at those games as their own, like, yeah, sure, they can be canon in story, but they absolutely cannot be canon in like what the characters do during gameplay. Because otherwise, what's the point of Link? If Zelda can wipe out hordes and hordes of enemies just as well as Link can, then Link doesn't have a purpose. That's his thing. Here's a cool bike. We're super psychic beings, but we thought it'd be fun to make a big bike to ride around our desert in. Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom Link looks like a scrub compared to literally everyone who fought before him in the imprisonment. Right, and that's if you like take both games as like, as far as like character ability goes, as canon. Like, it's fine if the story of the Imprisoning War is canon, but it's not fine if all of these characters can do everything every other character can do. It creates discontinuity with like character ability, which is something I don't really like. What are those? Oh. Cybots. Alright guys, so what are we gonna call these? What are we gonna call these enemies? Something sci-fi. I know. This game, you have psychic abilities, so let's call them Cybots. Oh my goodness. Die. Jeez. Oh, I totally hit you. Oh, interesting. That little cloud thing, I've seen that before pop up. That must be kind of like a... Yeah, they don't want you to go too far and explore too far with this beam, because probably the system can't take it. Yeah, some of these fights I feel like, because these things take more damage now, might feel like a real slog until I can get better upgrades. You're low on missiles! Did you know you're low on missiles? Jeez. I get it. Oh my gosh! I totally wasn't paying attention. I wish they had that I wish they would have the same enthusiasm for telling me I was low on health as they did as I was low on missiles. Let's see how punishing this is. Do I have to go all the way back to my last save? Okay, no. Hey, thanks for the follow. Join Rothschild Discord. I appreciate it. Can't find the sales numbers with Google, but I remember that in one of the Kiwi Talks interviews with former Retro Studios guys, that Metroid never was about sales number. Yeah, you were right. You were right, Zeltroid. Like, man, that alarm should have sounded for when I was about to die. Or I think maybe I just didn't notice this the first time through, but maybe getting hit just doesn't. I don't know. Maybe there needs to be a better hit effect for you, but I don't know. That could be wrong. Okay, got that one. I do like how you can boost forward now. Close the distance. That's too far away. Oh, could have gotten that one. You too, buddy. Ow. Come to me, missiles. Goodness, just die. Ow. Man, I see, like I feel like I'm getting hit, but it's not like registering with me. I feel like sometimes you get hit and your whole screen shakes and things go like crazy. But getting hit by these guys, I didn't even notice that I lost one E-tank so far, which I don't remember that being a problem in my first playthrough. Jim was going to say something along those lines. Apparently Nintendo doesn't care about Metroid sales. They care more about covering various genres to make the console look better for investors. That's an interesting business strategy for sure. But yeah, I know Metroid's never been a big heavy hitter for them, which is interesting because, you know, you'd feel like it would have died a long time ago if it was only about the money. Normally I wouldn't do this, but I feel like I'm gonna need ammo. Something tells me. Pew pew pew. Seriously? Brutal. I didn't scan those Cybots again, but that's okay. There's a million of them. But that will probably be my downfall. I fight a boss, scan it, and then I fight it again and forget to scan it again. I remember I did that my very first playthrough of Metroid Prime. I scanned Ridley, died to him, and then forgot to scan him. And that was the last scan I needed. Oops, I didn't mean to go that way yet. I wanted to look around some more. Hopefully there wasn't a scan up there I needed. Oh. That just spat me out. Okay. Alright, I gotta find a save point. So yeah, as I said, I'm gonna go through this game both on live stream and on my own. I'll try to save the big moments, like fighting the Omega Griever for sure. I'm gonna do on screen, on live stream. But just, you know, for the sake of time, I will do both on stream and off stream. And I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to pick up Resident Evil 9 at the end of February when it comes out. I checked my system and everything. I should be able to run it on my on the lowest settings. It's not going to look pretty, but I'm pretty sure it'll run pretty smooth. I don't know how well it's going to run while I stream, so what I might have to do is hook up my Steam Deck, pray it will run on the Steam Deck, and use my capture card to run it on the Steam Deck while I stream from my laptop. Anyway, I'm going to pick that up, but in between now and then, I'm going to try to think of another game to play to kind of mix it up. I don't know, maybe like a mod, or maybe do some demos, indie demos. Maybe I'll do, I already played the demo for it, but I was considering doing another play of Lucid's demo, because it's just so fun, and I think everybody should know about that game and support the developer for it. He's pouring a ton of work into it, and it looks fantastic. Yeah, I'm thinking about all these things, like should I switch genres? Should I stick with Metroidvanias? Maybe I'll just bounce back and forth between Resident Evil games and and Metroid games for a while. I don't know. Thinking about all these different things. Okay. I gotta find a save point, because I'm running out of time. I don't need to open the map. I don't want to open the map. I did notice, I don't know why I didn't pick up on this my first run through it, but the every stage is kind of built the same way. Like you walk in, you go all the way down to the end of it, you turn something on, and then you go back out. Like every area has that same basic structure to it. Like, why did they do that? Why didn't someone say that's kind of boring or redundant? Like, I don't understand. I want to understand. So many design choices in this game that I don't understand. And voila. I think the Lemorne the Lemorne are all like squiddy and mystical. I think seeing a Lemorne ride around one of these things would just look so ridiculous. Like, am I wrong? Like, this was clearly designed with Samus in mind, not the angelic squid creatures. Okay, I don't need to do that. Are you serious? It's locked. Ow. Ow. I'm just gonna let you live. Prime 2 scans were insane. You had to scan the air bubbles in dark aether in their standard state with a light beam, with a dark beam, and with the mixed beam. And then you had to do it all over again for the crystal forms and the air bubbles too. I really enjoyed playing through Prime 2 again. It was honestly way more fun than I remembered it. Scanning. Scan everything. Hello, Miles.
Copy. Finally, I got through. Lightning storm is playing tricks on my comm. Looks like you acquired the map to the facility. Let's take a peek. To reach the next tower, you'll need to open the big door.
Now I'm picturing the Chozo and the Luminoth on a motorcycle. I feel like Ravenbeak would sum up. Yeah, Ravenbeak could pull it off.
Good news is,
That dude's awesome.
to get there, you'll need access
I don't know
to
if
lower levels.
Gray Feather would look cool on it though. The Luminoth I think could pull it off. They're kind of lanky and sleek. No, I don't want to hear that again.
Oh, and don't forget to stop by the safe station.
Okay, I pointed this out in Prime 3. In Prime 3, Rhonda says to you, he's like, "Don't forget to back up your data and commence repairs or refill your supplies." That's what he says to you, and that's their way of reminding you to save your game. Which is a bit more like in universe. Him saying save station, it's almost like him saying press the A button to do this, which thankfully they don't do. But this is on par with that. Like, what's a save station in this universe? It's like breaking the fourth wall a bit. Like, he should say back up. Don't forget to back up your data. You wouldn't want to lose all those. Wouldn't want that data to get corrupted now, right? Or something like that. You know, just again, tiny little things. Good thing Prime 2 had such a hard difficulty level that your mind was occupied by other design problems, at least in the GameCube. I don't think I ever beat hard mode. Was there a hard mode for Prime 2? I don't know. I know a lot of people didn't like the atmosphere, the corrosive atmosphere of Prime 2, or the ammo restrictions. I personally didn't mind them. I actually thought it put a bit more, kind of like, I like the ammo system in this game. I like that I have to keep in mind how many missiles I have left. Or how much shot ammo I have. I think it adds a bit more of a deeper dynamic to enemy encounters. And like planning it out and things like that. Okay. Gotta run. We might pick up here tomorrow. Depends on if I have time to play tonight or not. But I'm gonna be thinking about throwing in another game to stream in the morning. So don't be surprised if Boost Guardian and the spider, the boss you had to fight for the spider ball, was a nightmare. You can go watch my video on that. My stream on that one. Jeez. But yeah, don't be surprised if you show up one morning and it's a different game. I'm trying to figure out which game that will be. But there will be more Prime 4. That is for certain. So I do want to finish Prime 3, but the control scheme is so different on the Prime Hack trilogy that I use that it's just gonna mess with me. So I'm gonna avoid games with like similar control schemes. Just kind of separate them out. So anyway, Zeltroid, Jim, Tim, thanks for hanging out. Eamon wasn't here. Now I'm concerned. It's usually the first one. I should shame him. Alright guys, have a great day. I'll see you all tomorrow.